In a world marked by a turbulent history, two lands, Israel and Palestine, emerge as central players in a deeply entrenched conflict that has spanned thousands of years. As the world's only Jewish state, Israel stands resolute on the eastern shores of the Mediterranean Sea. Its counterpart, Palestine, is the ancestral homeland of the Arab population, living within lands controlled by Israel. Throughout the annals of time, these two regions have borne witness to an enduring conflict characterized by the Israeli occupation of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. This deep-rooted tension has manifested itself in countless violent clashes between the two sides, shaking the foundations of this historic dispute. To grasp the full scope of the Israel-Palestine conflict, we must embark on a journey through history, traveling back through the millennia, to uncover the origins of this strife. Early history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Our story begins in the 17th century BC, a time when divine callings beckoned three revered patriarchs of the Jewish people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to these very lands. They settled in the region that would later approximate present-day Israel, the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, and extend into parts of Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. This expanse was christened with numerous names: the Land of Israel, the Promised Land, the Palestine region, and the Holy Land. It would become the stage for a saga that would shape history. Around 1000 BC, King Saul established the Israelite monarchy, an era marked by the rule of King David and his son King Solomon, who erected the first temple in the heart of Jerusalem. This vibrant kingdom flourished, but following Solomon's reign, the united monarchy bifurcated. The Kingdom of Israel was established in the north, with Samaria as its capital, while the Kingdom of Judah took root in the south, with Jerusalem as its beating heart. However, these lands were destined for a roller coaster of conquests by various groups, leading to a dramatic decline in the Jewish population. Among the most impactful conquests was orchestrated by the mighty Roman Empire, a powerful force that renamed the region Palestine, in a calculated effort to sever the Jewish connection to their ancestral homeland. As time waned on, a new religious force emerged: Christianity. Born as a Jewish sect, it would eventually rise to dominance as the Roman Empire's influence dwindled. In the 7th century, an Arab conquest unfolded, spreading the teachings of Islam. This epoch witnessed the construction of the Dome of the Rock, perched atop the ruins of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, thus sanctifying this city for three of the world's great monotheistic religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The Middle Ages were marked by periods of intense persecution, particularly against Christians in Jerusalem at the hands of the Seljuk Turks, an empire with grand territorial ambitions. It was during this time that Christians in Europe rallied behind a series of crusades to reclaim the Holy City. Yet these campaigns came at a great cost, as many Jews lost their lives, and others embarked on pilgrimages across Western Europe. From the 16th century until the cataclysmic events of World War I, this fertile region was under the rule of the Ottoman Empire, an Islamic superpower. During this period, the land became informally known as Palestine. Simultaneously, in Europe, the Zionist movement emerged with a compelling goal: to establish a Jewish national state in its ancient homeland. The early 20th century bore witness to tens of thousands of Jews emigrating from Europe back to the region, Israel and Palestine under British rule. For many years, Jews, Arabs, and Christians lived together relatively peacefully in Palestine under the rule of the Ottoman Turks. However, when World War I broke out in 1914, the situation changed. The Ottoman Turks sided with Germany, and the British decided to capture the Sinai Peninsula and take Palestine away from the Turks by opening a front in the south. To gather the support they needed for this mission, Britain made promises to both Arab leaders and local Jews living in Palestine. They assured the Arabs that they would get Palestine as a reward for their help, while they promised Jews a homeland if they assisted in defeating the Turks. This was particularly attractive to a Jewish movement called Zionism, which sought a Jewish homeland. Zion is often used to refer to Jerusalem in a biblical sense. The problem was that Britain essentially pledged the same land to both the Arabs and the Jews, which led to recruitment of troops for their southern front. The conclusion of World War I saw the division of the former Ottoman territories in the Middle East by the British and French empires. The British mandate for Palestine emerged, with a pledge to create a Jewish national homeland under the Balfour Declaration, a proclamation that took effect in 1923. Eventually, the League of Nations granted Britain the mandate to administer Palestine. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a plan to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international control. Yet this vision ignited tensions between the burgeoning Jewish and Arab populations, erupting in acts of violence. In response to the looming specter of persecution during Nazi rule in Germany, Jews from across Europe sought refuge in Palestine, resulting in the British imposing restrictions on Jewish immigration. In light of these restrictions, Jewish militias formed to confront the Arab opposition and resist British rule. The horrors of the Holocaust, which claimed nearly 6 million Jewish lives, further spurred Jewish emigration to the land of their forebears, deepening the tensions. Overwhelmed by the situation, Britain commenced its withdrawal from the region. The birth of the State of Israel. The United Nations proposed a plan in 1947 to partition Palestine into 2 independent states, one Jewish and one Arab, with Jerusalem as an international zone under special status. Regrettably, the plan, which favored the Jewish population that accounted for just 1/3 of the total, was met with rejection by the Arab side. This rejection gave rise to volunteer armies in Palestine. Less than a year later, as Britain's withdrawal from Palestine neared completion, Israel declared itself an independent state, ushering in a new chapter in the ongoing conflict between Jews and Palestinian Arabs. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Israel's declaration of independence was followed by a violent war between Arab and Jewish forces, known as the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The conflict drew in 5 newly independent Arab nations: Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, united under the banner of the Arab League, in a bid to establish a unified Arab Palestine. A ceasefire agreement was reached a year later, resulting in over 2/3 of historic Palestine, including West Jerusalem, falling under Israeli control. Jordan occupied East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Egypt took charge of the Gaza Strip. This turbulent period led to the expulsion of more than 750,000 Palestinians from their ancestral homes, an event etched in history as al-Nakba, or the catastrophe. Yet, the years that followed bore witness to more conflict and bloodshed, culminating in the Six-Day War of 1967. The Six-Day War. In 1967, a cloud of diplomatic friction and skirmishes between Israel and its neighboring Arab states, Jordan, Syria, and Egypt, erupted into a brief yet intense conflict known as the Six-Day War. The outcome was a resounding Israeli victory, which awarded them control of the Golan Heights from Syria, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Gaza Strip. While the Sinai Peninsula was also occupied, it was later returned to Egypt through the Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty. Regrettably, most Palestinian refugees and their descendants were barred from returning to their homes, left to build new lives in Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. Current situation. As of October 7th, there has been a serious conflict between Israel and Palestinian groups. Palestinian forces launched thousands of rockets into Israel and conducted raids in the southern part of Israel, including land, sea, and even using paragliders for infiltration. They mainly focused on the city of Ashdod, where they carried out door-to-door attacks and, in some instances, kidnapped civilians. Israel is activating its reserve forces, which is likely to make life even more challenging for the Palestinians. The ongoing conflict stems from Israel's desire to exist as a nation, facing off against a population of Palestinian refugees who believe they didn't receive what was promised to them. Turbulent times and shifting alliances. The turbulent history of Israel and Palestine continued to evolve, with shifting alliances, ongoing tensions, and a desire for sovereignty playing pivotal roles in shaping the narrative. The First Intifada, a violent Palestinian uprising that ignited in 1987, marked a significant turning point. This period was catalyzed by a tragic incident involving an Israeli military vehicle colliding with two Palestinian civilian vans, resulting in 4 casualties. In summary, this complex conflict has deep historical roots and continues to affect the lives of Israelis and Palestinians to this day.